Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport. And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love. We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be. So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Let's wait for the big...
everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm good.
What I was saying is I'm outside and there's a big truck about to go by, and I don't know if anyone can hear it. It was a Home Depot truck just drove by.
I could see it in the reflection behind you.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of a cool reflection. little bit different background.
I know. How's your day going?
It's great.
How about yours? Mine's, so I had a little, my daughter's going to this theater camp and I love it. She's having so much fun, but it's in Denver and it takes an hour to take her in the mornings, but then it only takes me like a half an hour to get out of Denver. And then I pick her up in the afternoon. And I was kind of hoping, because my parenting plan with her dad is he has her Wednesday and Thursday night so that he would have her Thursday and Friday mornings. And typically, like when she's at camp, the camp near our house or at school, after I drop her off at wherever she's going on Wednesday, I don't have anything Wednesday night, all day Thursday, or all day Friday until Friday afternoon with her. So I plan a lot. Like clients, I'm meeting with a new potential coaching client. I'm doing this functional training thing at HotWorks. Like I have a lot of things planned. Well, he just told me a couple days ago that he wouldn't be able to take her or pick her up. And so it's just kind of like, I just had to change a lot of things. And it was just a little frustrating because a couple of weeks ago, he was like, oh yeah, I should be able to make that work.
Right.
And so now I'm kind of like in a rush. So after we record the podcast, I have to drive right to Denver, pick her up. And then I have that functional training thing at HotWorks right after. So it's just kind of like, I haven't been able to the last couple weeks, actually the last 3 weeks, I haven't had time to donate plasma, which is part of my income I count on. But also what I like even better about it is it gives me time to catch up on my journals and to like when I send you the podcast clips, I do that while I'm donating plasma. So now I'm 3 weeks. They're all in my phone. I just haven't gotten them like from Riverside to my phone. All I have to do is go in my phone, open it, send it to you, each one. And so it takes like a half an hour, but I just haven't had that like alone time. I'm always with people doing things. So I kind of miss the plasma thing because I usually do it Wednesday afternoon and Friday morning. And the last 3 weeks, I haven't had time to do it because of my new summer schedule. So I'm behind on my journal and behind on sending those. So that is my goal at some point in the next 24 hours to do.
Thank you.
So we talked a couple weeks ago about getting used to the summer schedule. And I got used to the first 2 weeks because my daughter was at this one specific camp, but now she's at a new camp and it's in Denver. So that is, with traffic, it's a little bit different and the hours are different. It's 8 to 3 instead of her camp by our house is 7:30 to 5.
Right.
So I actually would have a couple hours in the afternoon. So I'm getting used to that schedule. And then as soon as I'm used to it, it's going to be a new thing.
It's all temporary.
It is. And it's been interesting because so they're doing the play Wicked, the musical Wicked, and that's one of our very favorite musicals. That's why we picked this theater camp. And that's why I'm fine driving to Denver. It was really expensive also, but she is loving it. And the first day they did auditions and I kind of, I didn't want her because she was like, I really want to be Glinda. And then she's like, well, I hope I'm not Glinda because there's so many lines. And Glinda and Elphaba are the main characters. Right. And it's a K through 12. So there's like high schoolers. So I'm like, Cora, you're probably not going to get a lead role because there's like high schoolers and this might be their like 20th play. This is your first play. I just wanted to set her up so she wasn't disappointed. Well, she came back after the first day and she was like, Mom, I think they're going to have an older Glinda and a younger Glinda. So she got a call back for the younger Glinda. So then we practiced another song on Monday night, which was her birthday. So it was just like, we didn't even get home until 10. We went to the pool. We had a pool party, all this stuff. So then she had that audition yesterday. So she finds out today what part she gets. But when I dropped her off, I was thinking, and I don't know if you guys who have kids out there ever feel this way, but like part of me, I want her to get like the role she wants. But then part of me is like, oh my gosh, I don't want her to have a big role because what if she can't handle it? Like, what if it's too many lines? What if she messes up? What if and I'm like, so it's interesting, my thought process, because you would think everyone would be like, as a mom, you want your child to have like the best part, or like if they're in a sport, like the best position, or they get to play the whole game, or on swim team, they get to swim that 200 IM and the big events, or they're the anchor of the A relay. But there's another part of that is like, oh gosh, that's a lot of pressure for them. I hope they can handle it.
Yeah.
So it's just like an interesting thing that I thought of after I dropped her off. I'm like, no, I do want her to get a big part, but I also was like, it makes me so nervous for her. Like,
Well,
I don't think as these kids are auditioning, if she gets chosen to get a big part like Glenda, it's because they know she can.
Right.
Based on her audition. They're not going to give a kid something that they don't think they can do.
Yeah, that's so true too. So, well, what's your wellness win for the week?
My wellness win is an athlete I coach. You met him at the Boulder Stroke and Stride. Andrew, who knew you from the podcast. He finished the Boulder 70.3, and there's a little background story. Like, we started working together back in August of 2025, and he was recommended to me by my friend Kirsten, who I coached for the Disney Marathon. So she recommended him to me, and I encouraged him. He's in Boulder. I'm in Atlanta now. I'm like, weaker swimmer, didn't know how to swim, and I'm like, you might want to go with a local coach. I probably even recommended you. And I said, you'll get more hands-on swimming experience, but this is what I can offer. And we talked about the video feedback, and he's like, I'm cool with that. And after probably 2 consultations, he decided to hire me, which was great because it was still August. And I'm like, if you're going to do the Boulder 70.3 in June, you need to do a race right now. He had never done a triathlon. So I pushed him to do the last call triathlon a couple weeks later, and he did it.
Awesome.
Yeah, he did that sprint because I'm like, you're not going to have any other opportunity unless you travel to Florida to do a race like in the winter, early spring. So he did the sprint, struggled, but he did it. He got a wetsuit, he did it. And then just through some video feedback, not a lot. And just the video feedback was maybe 2 times. He sent me a swim video for analysis, and the rest was coaching through Training Peaks and, looking at his pace and all the data and all the feedback. He got really comfortable with swimming. And I encouraged him to do the Boulder Stroke and Stride the Wednesday before the Saturday event. So my highlight was such a wellness win because he did so well. He did so amazing. And again, the way that the athletes that I coach, their success is my success too.
Yeah.
So it's like I live vicariously through the athletes I coach, and we're friends now. And he just had such an amazing experience. His goal was 7 hours, and he did 6 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh,
and
nice.
He really didn't keep track. He was like, gosh, if I knew I was that close to breaking 6 hours,
Right.
He felt like he had enough in the tank to probably do it. But that was not the why. The why was to break 7 hours. The why was to finish.
Right.
And he just had so many positive things to say about the swim. And I know it was a really rough swim this year at the Boulder 70.3.
Yeah.
So I have this inexperienced athlete with no experience and, really couldn't swim, and now he can, to have such a positive experience in tough conditions where athletes I know who are stronger swimmers struggled.
Right.
And just, again, it's a highlight for me as his coach that I really prepared him well. And I know I prepare athletes well, but anything can happen. And so definitely a huge wellness win.
Yeah. I have a couple of clients that I coach. I think I have 3 that did it. And one of the ladies I coach, her husband did it. So like, I don't coach him, but I've given him some advice here and there. And, and all 4 of them, cause they come to masters, they all were like, the swim was my best part. And it was good because we actually did some things in masters to prepare. And I always tell them all to go to Stroke and Strides. And I work all the Stroke and Strides. I volunteer at Chip Handout. So I tell people I'm going to be there. I'll help you out. So every single one of them came to at least one of the 2 Stroke and Strides that were before the race. And we did some things in masters with just like getting in the water and sprinting the first 200 and then trying to recover the second 200 without stopping, just like slowing down to kind of mimic that potential anxiety at the beginning. And we did some things like that. So yeah, the same, all 4 of mine. Well, I saw one today. I talked to one earlier today, Ashley, and then one just comes to masters. He's not one of my athletes. And they all were like, the swim was my favorite part. And it was, like you said, like when I looked at the times, I'm like, ooh, that was a choppier, slower swim than most.
Right. And I want to jump in there because part of Andrew, he wrote a big testimonial for me, posted it on Instagram because we talked about it in his post-race review on Monday was, this day and age, so many people rely on ChatGPT for their training plan. And if you give it enough information, it could provide a decent training plan. But AI plans don't know the athlete's fears and frustrations. They don't know water temperatures. They don't necessarily know an athlete's the full experience, mental and physical, especially with the swim. They've never seen the athlete swim before. And the swimming is usually the most anxiety-driven part of triathlon. And again, I say this all the time. I'm in so many Facebook groups, and so many people are like, I have a race in 5 weeks. I don't know how to swim. What should I do? It's like, don't do the race if you don't know how to swim. You don't have to do Why don't you learn how to swim and then enter the race? Why don't you get comfortable swimming and then enter a race? But this day and age, so many people enter a race, then they get in the water and they realize they panic, they freak out, they don't know. And it's really a serious thing. People die in the swim. The most important deaths, there's not a lot of deaths in triathlon, but when there's a death, chances are high it happened in the swim. And so I think it's just really important that people connect to a local coach. Number one, there's nothing better than a local on deck experienced coach that can help you get comfortable in the water, can help you with open water skills. It's different than the pool. You need to learn how to float. You need to learn how to tread water. Those 2 things that you can practice in the pool go a long way in open water. And I think it just our talking about our athletes that we coach for Boulder 70.3 just shows that we really focused and tailored their program for the swim. And that was the best part of their experience.
Right.
And so I think anyone out there who's thinking about doing a triathlon, who's a weaker swimmer, you got to get help. You got to assess immediately and you got to get help. And again, if you don't have anyone local, we both offer the online video analysis stuff. So it's just so important. I just wanted to stress that based on
Yeah. And something you said reminded me, because I just met with this guy actually right before I coached. He didn't do Boulder 70.3, but he did, I think it was Omaha. It was like the week before. And he had a training plan from a coach, but it wasn't a coach that really communicated with him. So he followed the training plan to a T, and he didn't have a great race. So Ashley, my friend, and I coach her, she knows how communicative I am with people. Basically, I'm like, you need to tell me after every single workout how it went, how it felt, what went right, what went wrong. Like, that's how Wendy and I can help you day after day, week after week by knowing how each workout went. So anyway,
coaching is not the training plan. Coaching is everything on top of the training plan. Coaching is the communication and education.
Right. So when he had this, he didn't have a great experience. She was like, you should talk to Kirsten. And so I just met with him for an hour and we went over, I asked him a lot of questions, like a full race report. I wanted all the little details, asked questions about all the things. And then I deducted from his race report and his training. I had him open up his training and tell me like what percentage of his training was swim, bike, and run, what percentage of his training was threshold, what percentage was this. And those are things he didn't really understand. He had to look it all up because I'm like, I was just curious. I go, how many hours a week were you training? He's like, I don't know. I just did what the coach said. So he didn't even, like a lot of times he didn't understand what he was doing. He just followed the plan, which could work or it couldn't work. But if you have questions about your plan, that's why Wendy was saying it's education and communication, then you need to ask, like, why am I doing this? What's this workout for? If you're not understanding it, because the clearer you are on why you're doing something, the better the workout's going to be, the more beneficial. So one of the things that he told me is that, because I go, did you guys have any communication? And he was like, well, yeah, I had a really bad workout one day. Like one of his long workouts was really bad, he said. And I said, so he put like in the notes in Training Peaks, he put like, oh my gosh, my workout sucked. I like failed everything, blah, blah, blah. And his coach put back in, yeah, that happens. Which, don't get me wrong, it does happen. But if they would have, because what I deducted from his workout, from his race report and his training plan is he was complete, his fueling plan, he was averaging like 120 calories an hour for a half Ironman, and he's a 200-pound guy. And it was, we had it written down. It was like 30 grams of carbs per hour.
I was going to say he probably needs 120 grams of carbohydrates per hour, not
yes,
calories.
Yes. And so I was like, if his coach would have taken that workout that he did 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the race, his long key workout that he bombed, and would have been like, okay, let's workshop this. Let's figure out why you bombed. How were your calories? How was this? What did you do that morning? How was your sleep? And ask those questions. They might have been able to figure that out, and he could have taken that new plan into his race and had a more successful race.
Absolutely.
So that's, so that when you would mention like the Chat GPT or the training plan that people just buy, like the general training plan, you know what, if you just want to do your first triathlon and you just want to follow something just to get to the finish line, that's fine. Like you could, those training plans, especially as a beginner, they'll get you to the finish line. But if you have a specific goal, if you're doing a longer, harder race, you need that feedback from a coach who is communicative and is willing to take the time to talk to you and educate you, not just write you a training plan.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about coaching things today, and that was actually something I wanted to bring up. So it kind of came up, with you saying that, it just naturally came up. So I wanted to mention that because I wanted to talk about that a little bit today anyway, about, the training isn't just swimming, biking, and running. It's everything that Wendy and I talk about all the time: general nutrition, sleep, recovery, race nutrition, what you eat in the morning. So I asked him what he ate that morning, and it was he had some electrolytes, a banana, and a little like energy bar the morning before a half Ironman, which your body needs more calories, but B, some protein, because your protein that you eat in the morning is what's going to carry you through a 5 or 6 hour race.
Right. And he ate energy product food. He
Exactly.
ate food that you should save to eat during the race. You should eat more of a substantial, quote unquote, real food: oatmeal, bagel, peanut butter, eggs, protein shake, whatever you practiced in training.
Yes. And so that's another thing. I'm like, if he would have had that feedback from his coach, because any long workout, any like long key brick that I have my athletes do, if they're doing a longer distance, even a half marathon, half Ironman, Ironman, or any ultra races, when they go do that long brick, they need to practice what they're going to eat for breakfast, because that's going to start everything. So that's what I eat: oatmeal with peanut butter and maple syrup. And it's like 30 grams of protein and like 800 calories. And if I don't eat that, and then I drink my Shakeology too, there's another 17, 18 grams of protein and another 200 calories. And I do that a couple hours before the race. And then during the race, I do that quick energy to keep me going. But you need that substantial, slow burning carbs and protein to start, or else you're not even going to get halfway through.
Right.
So it's, I just wanted to mention all that, because when you go with these general training plans or just, $20 for your first sprint triathlon, or this coach he had. It was a very inexpensive coach. You're not going to get those things that are vitally important for you to have a successful race. So it's just something to think about when you're picking a coach. Like Wendy said, she had 2 consultations with Andrew. I just had a consultation with this guy, and he's doing a race in a month. That's his only other race. And he was like, okay, what do I need to do for you to coach me for the next 4 weeks? And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get you feeling great at the end of your race.
Right. And again, when you're looking to hire a coach, the expectations should be known.
Yes.
The amount of communication. I mean, I'm unlimited communication, email, training peaks is the best way to communicate. And athletes realize, oh, I don't even need to talk to Wendy because we communicate so well through the Training Peaks app. Phone call set up by appointment. Sometimes it's, hey, can you do a quick phone call? And usually I can. But everything is like laid out up front about what you can expect from me as a coach. And I say this because not all coaches coach the same way. So it's really important to know, number one, why you're hiring a coach. What do you want out of it? And make sure all your questions get answered when you're doing the interview.
Yeah. And you might be somebody who doesn't want feedback. You just want a training plan. And then again, it's a little risky. Like if you don't get all the information, or your coach isn't tweaking your specific workouts based on your life that's unfolding right in front of you. So yeah, it's what you want, what your expectations are. And if you lay that all out to people. And then as a coach, Wendy and I do the same thing. We're like, we expect you to communicate. We expect you to tell us after every workout, we need to know how it went, or we can't progress. And if you're sick, you need to tell us. If you switch a workout, tell us. If you skip a workout, we've talked about this 18 times on the podcast. It's okay. Change it around, skip it around, but we need to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a lot about that, but I wanted to bring it up anyway. So now is as good a time as ever, but I did have a wellness win. I had a couple wellness wins. But I think my main one, and it's only a wellness win. Well, it's a wellness one. I don't want to diminish it because it has to do with jujitsu, which, as you guys have known, has been kind of like a challenge for me. Last Friday, I went to class, and it was the only usually there's like 10 people in class, but for some reason, summertime, whatever, there was 3 of us in class. It was all girls, and we decided to do no gi. So a gi is the thing you wear in jujitsu, like it looks like a karate uniform, with the thing and the belt. And we learn a lot of technique where you're holding onto the gi. So like when you choke someone, you're holding onto the collar, you're holding onto their collar to pull them in toward you. You can like tackle them holding on to their belt. So I've only done no gi once. One of the girls has done no gi 3 times, and the other girl has done no gi 5 times. So basically we're like all no gi virgins. Like we're very like, it was really new for all of us. And so the owner, he's one of the coaches on Friday. And then my daughter's coach, he's amazing with new people because he coaches kids. So they were the coaches on Friday. And it was so much fun learning and like experiencing all of this together. And even like my daughter's coach yesterday at her jujitsu, he was like, we should do no gi again this Friday because that was so much fun. He goes, I was kind of in a bad mood. I didn't even want to be there, but you girls like were so excited to learn. And we all like were rolling around all sweaty. And I left jujitsu and I was like, because I kind of had a stressful week last week, and it was I didn't get any time to myself really. And I was like, oh my gosh, this was the most fun. Like, this was my favorite thing I did all week. So for me to be like, jujitsu was my favorite thing I did all week, I feel like is a huge wellness win. Yeah. I know. So that was my big wellness win. So Wendy and I wanted to continue a little bit because we still had a lot of questions, athlete things we wanted to talk about. We've already talked about a few of them. And since that's, we're knee deep in athletes right now between swimming. We both coach swimming. We both coach triathletes. We both coach runners. We wanted to cover a few more athlete questions. So this is part 2 of our Ask Us Anything athlete version. And then if you guys have more questions after this, let us know, because I've gotten a lot of responses on us doing these where we answer the athlete questions. Because if one athlete has this question, I guarantee if you're a triathlete or an ultra runner out there, or swimmer, you have these same questions. So we wanted to just go over a couple things. So Wendy, do you want to start with one of yours?
Yeah, I want to, it's kind of like a follow-up to what we already talked about, but I see a question very similar to this, like every day. And again, these Facebook groups that I'm in, she says, hello, I'm doing my first triathlon this November. It's a 70.3, her first one. I'm looking for a real detailed, structured plan to follow, one that'll allow me to work around my full-time work and family. I'm probably an intermediate level when it comes to fitness in all three categories, so wanting a training plan that will accommodate for an intermediate level. My partner uses Training Peaks, which is based on time and heart rate. So again, when you're looking just for a training plan only, and if you looked, there's a billion of them on Training Peaks. I have some as well that I've created on Training Peaks. That training plan knows nothing about you. It doesn't know your intermediate level. Intermediate is such a vague word. It doesn't know your work schedule, your family time. The plan was not created for you. So it's really important when you're choosing a training plan only, kind of a generic thing, it knows nothing about you. So it is not going to be structured around your time with your family and work. It is not going to be structured around your current fitness and goals. And again, if you're doing a 70.3 for your first one, it's not going to tell you we recommend doing some shorter races as a lead up to 70.3. So when I answered her question, I encouraged her to talk to a coach and get, if she doesn't want to invest in all that coaching offers, to talk to a coach. And this is something I offer, is a 12-week personalized plan where we talk about your fitness, we talk about your time available to train and what's going to happen over the next 12 weeks. And then I take the time and I personalize the plan based on what you told me. And that's your training plan. It's a lower cost type of coaching, but it doesn't offer the feedback. It doesn't offer changes to plan. It's definitely a step above a generic plan that you may find on Training Peaks or other platforms. And just based on this question, it sounds like she should go with coaching because of her level and her first experience at a 70.3. And it sounds like she's going to have a lot of questions and she wants a plan tailored around her life. That is coaching. That is the benefit of coaching, is to create the plan and adapt it based on your life schedule. So that was a question. And we kind of, everything else that we talked about in the beginning of the podcast kind of goes along with that question.
Yes, I 100% agree. If you have, and that's kind of like Wendy and I've talked about, we kind of specialize in fitting training into your life. And that's whatever your life looks like. That's your crazy, you're a mom, you want to hang out with a family, you have a job, you're already an intermediate athlete, all those things. The more specific you need your plan to be, the more you need a coach. I kind of struggle with, tell me how you deal with this. I offer the same thing. It's a training plan. So it's catered to the specific person's goals, needs, time management, all that stuff. And it's the same thing, a 12-week, and it's a lower cost. And so people who are like, oh, I can't afford the monthly coaching, but I still want to plan, this is a great option. But I had a guy do this for Boulder, and I explained to him what it was. And because he was like, oh, I can't afford coaching. I'm like, that's fine. Like, here's my other option. But during the 12 weeks, he kept reaching out to me to be like, oh, can you change this? Could you write me out this? This is, my FTP's gone up. Could you write me out? So, and he's in my master's. So he was like asking me questions at master's all the time. And like, he's like, oh, my run felt really good. Do you think? So I feel like in the end, with him, I did the same amount of work as I would have if he was a monthly coach for 3 months, but for that like 3-month training plan price. And so I kind of struggled with, like, do I even want to offer that? Because I'm not going to be like, nope, sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah. And I struggle because I just started offering, I used to offer it years ago. I've been coaching for 25 plus years. And then I got rid of it because I found I was coaching everyone the same.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I coach everyone the same. This is what I offer. It's one thing. It's one type of program. This is the coaching. But I started offering it again this year. And I learned from the first athlete I started doing this for that I'm very, very, very upfront specific to the point where I put it in a contract. This is what you're paying for. You're not paying for updates. And again, we talk about it, they read it, they sign it. No updates.
No personal, like once it's there, it's there.
Feedback. No updates, no feedback. And because I was struggling with it too. And if you make it just extremely clear and they really understand that, there shouldn't be an issue. Now, again, I just started coaching a guy. He joined my master's 2 or 3 weeks ago. We talked about coaching last week. And I already knew ahead of time it was going to be a price issue. And so after he said, I brought up, well, if you don't want the month-to-month coaching, this is what you'll get. And one reason I did it is because I don't have to write a swim plan, and he's doing his own strength plan. So that takes out a lot
of workouts. Yeah.
And I see him, so I know I'm already going to give him feedback because I see him, but I'm not taking the extra time to have to meet up with him extra. I'm going to see him at Masters to give him feedback. So if he has questions, I take the.
You're already there.
That I know he's going to ask me questions, but I'm already there. I would rather him ask me questions. But I just let him know I'm not making comments. I want him to keep his training log, and I still want him to comment on everything that I require for.
But it's not going to change whatever he comments. You're not going to change.
I'm not going to change it, and I'm not going to comment in Training Peaks. I may comment it when I see him, but it's very clear. So, and again, the reason I'm doing that is, in the end, he may end up wanting me to coach him more closely, more one-on-one, more dynamic, and make changes for him because he's going to realize, I wish Wendy could make this change for me. What I'm doing. And then I have the Training Peaks, I have the feedback, and I have everything that I could look back on and say, okay, I remember this workout that you screwed up. I remember it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to point it out to him and say, this is, if I was coaching you, this is what I would have done to adjust the plan for you. Right. So he sees the difference, because I think it's really important for athletes to value us as coaches, to see and value what we're providing for them above and beyond a training plan only. And again, the personalized plan is so much better than just a generic plan. And I have generic plans. I'm saying that from experience.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I do too.
So yeah, you as a coach and me as a coach, just establishing that boundary, having that experience with that athlete, and having that boundary moving forward for other athletes who just want that 12-week personalized plan.
Yeah. So the man I met with today, after we spent an hour together, and the first 45 minutes was me helping him figure out where he went wrong or what he could have improved on. And then he's like, okay, tell me what do I have to do? And so I told him my monthly coaching price, and he was like, well, I heard you had just like a one-time like training plan. And I'm like, well, I do, but it's the same price as 1 month. And so, and his race is in 1 month.
Okay.
So I was like, just like, pay this amount. It's 1 month regardless, and you're going to get the coaching.
Right.
And he was a little surprised because he thought that training plan would be cheaper because it was just the training plan.
Yeah.
But Wendy and I, we have to put a lot of initial time up front to make out a whole training plan.
Right.
We don't take it week by week. Like when we're coaching you, it's more time throughout because we're changing things up every week. But like if we're putting together a 12-week, so whether it's 1 month or 3 months, it's a flat rate because I'm putting all the time up front.
Right.
So yeah, he just decided, it's a month. So he's just doing a month of coaching. And then, I have a feeling he's going to see the value in it because of his experience with his last coach. Absolutely. And then continue.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So one of my questions was about swimming, since we were kind of talking about swimming earlier. And I've had this from a couple athletes or swimmers that I coach, that I'm coaching for either adult fitness or triathlon. So this is different than the private lessons I do for kids who are trying to make a regional cut or, get a leg up and they're on a club team and they don't get that individualized attention. So I do some specific private lessons with them. These are adults who are either wanting to learn swimming for fitness or for triathlon. And I've had this question before and I got it again today, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because Wendy, or the swim guru, we're both swim coaches. He said, should I practice my kick? So I taught him from the beginning. It's been I think 4 months. No, I think it's been 6 months, and I meet with him once a month, and then he practices on his own. And we're to the point where he's starting to take off his fins. He's starting to try to get more strength from his pole instead of just going through the motions because he doesn't have the fins. We're doing the buoy. We're doing some sculling and other drills. And he was like, oh, the other day after, I did my practice, I tried to kick and, I didn't really go anywhere and it was a lot of work. So do you think I should be practicing my kicks? So what are your thoughts on that, Wendy?
Number one, when anyone asks me a question, I'm like, oh, it depends on your why. Why should you practice your kick? Why do you think you should practice your kick? Number two, from a swimming standpoint, whether you're a recreational swimmer or a multi-sport athlete or competitive swimmer, everyone's kick is different. There's a 2-beat kick, a 6-beat kick, a 4-beat kick, and it has to do with your stroke count. So it just depends on your why and what you're struggling with. A lot of athletes will come to me and say, I need to work on my kick. And I look at them, I'm like, no, you just need to work on your body balance. Part of working on your body balance and your rotation and your breathing has to do with your kick and your feet. A lot of triathletes come with flexed feet. They do a split kick. And it's obviously we need to go from a split kick to a nice flutter kick. And at the same time, that's not to kick to provide the forward propulsion. That's a kick to provide better body balance, rotation, and to help you with breathing. So again, it just goes back to the why. A lot of times I've coached recreational swimmers who aren't multi-sport athletes. And I'm like, yeah, grab a pair of fins. You're going to get your heart rate high and you're going to get a different type of workout if you incorporate a lot of kicking sets into your swim workout, just for the workout benefit, the cardiovascular benefit, the leg strength benefit. Me as a multi-sport athlete, I like to lightly kick because it helps my leg recovery. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of different reasons. And depending on the answer to the why would base my next response.
Right. And that's basically what we went through is, I already know his why. But he's trying, his heart rate gets up so high when he swims because he's kicking too much.
Right.
So then I'm like, no, actually we're focusing on kicking a little bit less until you can swim without stopping. Because right now he still stops after every 25 to 50. We're working up to 75s. But what I told him, kind of similar to what you said, I said, if you were a kid that I coach who's competing in the 50 free, or you're trying to, you're doing more of something short distance or for fitness to get your heart rate up. Yes, we're going to work on your kick. Your kick is going to propel you. Your legs are huge. So if you're a pool swimmer and you're doing sprinting, you need to have an amazing kick because that's going to give you an advantage. But if you're a fitness swimmer and you're trying to swim long distance, you have to be a little more efficient. And typically that's like a 2-beat kick or a 4-beat kick rather than a 6-beat kick. And I even showed him there's somebody else in the pool that was doing like this perfect little 2-beat kick. So I was like, do you see her kick? It was like straight legs, just kind of like it was perfect little do, do, do with her stroke. And I was like, do you see that? And I was like, it's just more efficient. And so basically what I told him is if you have time and you like practicing your kick, yes, practice your kick. It'll make your legs stronger, but it's not the focus of what we are doing for you.
That's a good answer.
So, all right, what's another question you had?
I had an athlete, this athlete I just met with 2 weeks ago, who's behind the 12-week training plan from me. He asked me, how does miles per hour riding indoors, like on a route like Ruby, compare to miles per hour riding outdoors? So he decided he's going to do a 70.3 Waco, Texas in October. and he rode the Waco course already on Ruby. And I think he said it took him about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then, which was great. And I'm like, okay, part of that is, what was your effort during that 56-mile route on Ruby? What was the elevation gain, elevation loss? It's a flat course, so there's not much. So when you want to compare that to outside, you want to go ride a 56-mile course at the same effort that you rode indoors at around the same elevation gain and loss, and you want to make it as comparable as possible so you can decide for yourself how miles per hour change. So we decided it's at least a mile per hour based on my experience with my training, especially my training for Ironman Florida. In 2021, I did a lot of the Ironman Florida course indoors, and I could crank out like 22 miles an hour for 56 miles on the Panama City Beach, Florida course. And outside, if I cranked out 56 miles on a flat course, I could do right around 20 and a half. So I knew it was at least a mile per hour difference. So what does he do? He does that weekend. He went, and I told him, go on the Silver Comet Trail because it's flat. And he did 56 miles in 3 hours. So he was slower outside, which was normal because you have a little bit of elevation, you have wind, you have just different, headwind, tailwind is going to affect your miles per hour. And he didn't have enough nutrition. So we have to talk about, he had 4 water bottles when he rode indoors. He may have had a fan on him. He had 2 water bottles when he rode outdoors in very hot, humid conditions. So that's going to impact how miles per hour compares. But in the big picture, I would say generally give yourself probably 2 miles per hour, maybe slower maybe in a mile and a half mile per hour slower outside because of the wind conditions and the heat and humidity conditions.
Yeah. And also like just curving, like, if you're making a turn, a right-hand turn, or you're like, even if you don't have to make any stops, just having to like make turns, it's going to slow you down. And then it takes more energy to go get back up to speed. Whereas when you're inside, you could just maintain that constant speed. And so you never need that extra energy to get back the momentum back up.
Right. Indoors, you're never really coasting. Outdoors, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, around the corners, you're going to be kind of braking. You're not going to be pedaling. You're going to be at a different position. Indoors, you really never get the effect of wind and bike handling when you're descending. And indoors, you can crank out a descent. Whereas outdoors, you can't always crank out a descent depending on the grade of the descent.
Right.
And so it's just something to keep in the back of your mind, but there's no, to my knowledge, no like studies that have been done.
Right. Like there's not a formula, an exact formula.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why Wendy and I, we ourselves and coach a lot of our athletes at rate of perceived effort for this exact reason. So,
yeah.
And I mean, you could be going out on a day, it's really windy here today. You could be going on a day that's no wind. That could be like 3 miles per hour difference.
Right.
If it's wind or not winding, the same exact course outside.
Right.
So, going by rate of perceived exertion. And that brings me another thing that I wanted to mention, because we were talking about biking with this athlete that I'm doing this training with him for this month. His coach, his race had about 3,300 feet of climbing in the 56 miles. And I said, did you do any bike rides with 3,300 feet of climbing? Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh yeah, well, probably, I think my most elevation was, I think, around 2,200. And I'm like, that's not 3,300. Mm-hmm. So, that's another thing to take into account. If you know that your bike course or your run course has a lot of elevation and you have a coach that's not having you do any elevation, you might want to ask. Like, right. Hey, I know do you want me doing more hills here? Because I feel like it would benefit me. But as an athlete, sometimes you don't know to ask that.
Right.
But Wendy and I've talked about this on other episodes, like you have to train how you want to race. And so if you're on hills, you have to do some hill repeats. Wendy's doing all these really high elevation ultras. She's not going to just go run 50 miles on a flat road to train.
No.
She has to be in the trails doing her repeats up that whatever billion-foot climb she did a couple weeks ago. Like, that's going to benefit her racing because that's the terrain and the elevation that mimics her race.
Exactly.
So my last thing is I need help. And I'm not the only one. Like, these are some things that my clients have asked me or people I know or friends. So I figured we'd kind of talk about it because just having other people ask questions and you can bounce ideas off other people can help you make some decisions. So it's really valuable. And I myself I cannot decide if I want to I have a race in 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. It was going to be my A race of the year. It's the new half Ironman in New Mexico. And I'm not sure I want to do it, but I can't decide because one of the questions we've talked about in the past is when race day comes, if you're sitting at home tracking your friends, are you going to wish you were at the race?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that answer is absolutely yes. But all the other things are pointing to no. So I'm really like debating in my mind if I want to do this race or not. I'm fine if I lose my entry and I made reservations at the campground. I'm okay with that. But the thought of having a weekend where I don't have anything to do and just like being home and saving money and not driving to do this race and not having to train for the race because I'm loving like just swimming because I love to swim. Or like I ran 30 minutes up and down stairs the other day just because I wanted to run up and down stairs. And I noticed when I was doing, I was, quote, supposed to be doing a long run. Like I haven't done a long run yet for my training. So I had it booked on Thursday. Well, Thursday, my schedule changed because of something out of my hands and I couldn't do it Thursday, but I had time Friday. Well, Friday, I took a nap for 2 hours instead of did my long run. So I prioritized my nap, but I had time Saturday. Saturday, I ended up being like, well, I want to be on the bike. I'm going to do my long ride. I rode for an hour and a half with my friend. And then we went and got food. And I was like, oh, I'll do my long run Sunday. Well, Sunday, I got up and I just wanted to sit on the bike. I love just sitting on the bike and working on my phone. And I did that for 3 hours. But then I did the step mill after because I'm like, I really don't want to do a long run. And I'm like, I really don't even want to do this race. So I'm going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, so again, it goes back to number one. What was your why when you signed up? It sounded like your why was this is going to be your A race of the season.
And it was the reason I chose it is because I love doing first time races.
Yeah. And so the why sounds like it maybe has changed. And so that's number one, the thing you want to focus on first. Has the why changed? Number two, I mean, everything you're pointing to, like the expenses, one of your big goals for the year was to save money. This is not going to be saving money because traveling to a race is expensive.
And I'm not even sure if my car will make it now. Like I have problems with it, but it's an old car now and it's a 9-hour drive.
Right. You not only spend money going to the race, but you lose money by not working. And so there's that. Another thing that comes to mind is you've been racing for, 30 years. You don't need to do a long run. And
I don't need to prove. Yeah, that's true.
You just did a half Ironman, the Harvest Moon, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you just did more than a long run. You did a long run after 56 miles of biking. So you could be fine the next 3 weeks of just maintaining some training that you enjoy doing, and you'll be fine for the race. You'll be able to complete it like you completed Harvest Moon. You just aren't going to be at the peak fitness that you thought you wanted to be. I have this fly going, or this flying.
He was like, what are you doing?
There's this flying land all over me. So you're not going to be at the peak fitness that you hope to be at when you signed up for the race. And that's one problem with Ironman is signing up for these races so far in advance.
I signed up for it. It opened in like May of last year.
Yeah, I've
been signed up for over a year.
Yeah, so many things happen. And so I think by making the choice to not start is fine, no matter what the reason. I don't think, well, so one reason you may want to decide now is is deferral an option?
I don't think so. I didn't sign up for any deferral thing.
So you would lose out no matter what. If you didn't race,
yes.
Or whether you race or not race, the race is paid for. You're not getting that money back.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about that part of it.
Yeah. So you don't have to decide now.
I know I could decide the day before.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's that deferral. If you defer 60 days or 90 days out, you can defer, but you don't have that. So I don't think you didn't need to decide now. I think you'll know as it gets closer. And I also think you don't need to pressure yourself to say, if I don't do another long run, whatever long means to you, before the race, then I shouldn't do it. I don't think that should be the determining factor, because look, you just did a 3-hour ride and you just did Harvest Moon. So don't base it off of your current fitness to decide if you want to do it. I mean, you've done this for 30 years. You're going to be fine.
Right.
It's just, again, think of all the positives of doing it. You get to check off New Mexico. You get to check off doing a first time race and getting that experience that you can share with athletes. You get to do a really long workout that day.
Right.
I know how much you love to do that. You get to train in a new you get to travel and train in a new location.
And it's in the mountains.
Yeah, you get to travel and train in a new location. So, I mean, there's a lot of pros. Why not? I mean, again, why not do it? But I think
I already have the time off too. Like, we talked about this when I first was signed up. I requested that weekend off from a swim meet.
Right.
So like we have a bye that weekend because I was planning on doing this. So I have there's nothing I have to do.
Yeah. I mean, so again, things point out like, well, why not? You know, like your whole, like, you don't want to do it because you would love to have the weekend off at home. Well, schedule another weekend to have off at home. Like it's me, the last 3 days, like I went to this, I talked about this on the podcast. I went to the mountain. It's 2 hours away, Brasstown Bald. It was my wellness win last week because I went to Blairsville to fight a traffic ticket that I got, and I won. And then I went and ran in this beautiful mountain, and I've been dreaming about going back ever since. But for the last 3 days, I'm like, I have the time to go tomorrow. Am I going to go? Am I not going to go? It's so far, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And I decided today, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to go. It's going to be 2 hours there. I'm going to run for 2 hours and drive 2 hours home. Totally worth it because I just want to get this. There's a route I want to do. I just want to do it. Check it off, get it done. So why wouldn't I go? I have the time to go.
Right.
And so I can catch up with my job, work stuff a different day because I have that flexibility. I work all weekends. I always work on the weekends. I don't train a lot on the weekends. It's kind of like my day to work. So yeah, why not? I would do it. I think you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just been weighing on me because
I think you're going to do it.
I think I've just been so overwhelmed the last few weeks that like I have laundry everywhere, dishes everywhere. I've hardly slept at all. And I feel like my mind,
that's your lifestyle. You talk about that's just your lifestyle. And so you just have to accept that's who you are. There'll be a time and a place where you'll get to catch up, but it's probably not going to be the weekend you're in New Mexico.
And it's probably not going to even be any time during the summer.
No, exactly. So when you just start processing and just start asking the right questions to help you process, like I say in the end, you're going to do it, but ultimately, you're going to have to make that decision and try not to let anyone influence you.
Yeah. I don't think
just make the right decision for you.
Yeah. I don't feel like I would, because at first I was like, oh God, I rearranged the whole swim team schedule. I better do it. But I'm like, that we would get a bye during the summer anyway. It could have been that weekend anyway. I just requested it. And then I have a friend that's going and she's only going because I'm going, but she's going with her husband and they're not staying with me. So she would go regardless. So I'm like, no, it really isn't about anyone else. It's just about me.
Yeah. And you don't have to decide now.
Yeah. And when I go to Wildlife Loop and I'm camping by myself in my car, it's heavenly. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm here.
Right. When I take the 2 hour drive tomorrow morning, I'm going to be glad I did it.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't want to spend 4 hours in the car tomorrow, but I'm going to be glad when I get to this trail that looks just amazing. That's going to only help my prep for my race in July. I just have to do it because the next couple of weeks, I don't think I'm going to have the availability to do it, but I do tomorrow. So let's
right. And I do have that weekend open. And my first question I asked was what I said at the beginning, because you had mentioned that a few podcasts ago, like when you look back, like on race day, if I was sitting at home doing my laundry, tracking people, I would be and like seeing pictures and like, it's a mountain. It starts at, I don't know, 7,000 feet of elevation, and it's all in the mountains. And I'm like, that's what I love.
Yeah. I think you should. I'm going to say you're going to do it.
Yeah. I think I'm just overwhelmed. So it seems like having a weekend off would be amazing.
But you'll have a weekend off a different weekend.
Another 2 weekends later.
Yeah.
I could make a weekend off.
Yeah.
Because, Okay. So anyway, I thought it'd be valuable because I'm sure, you know, there's other people out there that go through that. Like you said, you're going through it in your mind too, with doing your 2-hour drive to do this 2-hour run.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, I have to wrap up because I have to go drive to Denver to pick up Cora and find out her part in the play.
Awesome.
So what are you most excited for the week?
My run tomorrow.
No,
I really am. Like something that I slept well. Sleep changes everything. I finally have a good night's sleep. I haven't had a good night's sleep in a few days, and I had a really good night's sleep last night and this morning when I was coaching, and I made the decision this morning. I think it's just because I got some sleep, so my mind's a little bit more clear.
Yes.
And I'm going to be okay. So I'm really excited to run tomorrow. That's definitely my highlight. And then I'm also excited because the summer solstice is this weekend. And I love the summer solstice, and it's Father's Day. So we're doing a big Father's Day with my husband, Don, and all his kids. And I get excited about that. And it's just the first day of summer's coming up. It's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. This weekend we have a big swim meet, and then it's Cora's birthday party.
Nice.
So even though it's a little like stressful, and I definitely went way over budget, she is so excited about it. We have a face painter and a balloon animal guy, and like she's just so excited about it, and that's what's important.
That sounds amazing.
So I'm excited to celebrate that with her. And then I didn't realize that Sunday was Father's Day, and normally I have her this weekend, and I was like, oh, it's going to be, you know, so much with the swim meet, then her birthday party right after, and then the next day I coach I work 2 hours at the gym, and then we were meeting with some friends. Anyway, it's this big thing. And then I remembered that Father's Day was Sunday, and she's with Matt on Father's Day.
Yeah, that's great.
And so then I'm like, oh, wait, she'll be with him for 6-8 hours. So then I actually do have a little more time to breathe.
Right. You'll have enough time to breathe and process your race.
Yes. And sleep. I think that's when you said that, that's why I was like, oh, I want to just have a weekend where I could just sleep all weekend. But I guarantee I will not sleep all weekend. I'll find something else to do.
For those of you who are young, I mean, it hit me probably when I started hitting 45, I started noticing the sleep. But really, when I hit 50, sleep has become just top of the chart.
Oh, gosh, it's such a priority.
I mean, I'll miss morning workouts if I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I never set an alarm. So I usually wake up and Don has to go to work. But even on the days that he doesn't have to go to work, if I wake up at the normal time, I'm still going to lay there for an hour or two. If I can. Instead of waking up at 5, I'm going to get out of bed at 7 because sleep is such a high priority for me as I'm in my 50s.
Yeah. And that's why on Friday when I was like, oh, I blocked out 2 hours for a long run, and I was like, I'm really tired. I'm taking a nap, and I slept that whole 2 hours.
Nice. That's awesome.
I know. So, well, you guys, we might have to continue more Ask Us Anything athlete questions because I still had more, and I know Wendy, we're just constantly getting them. So if you guys like these, let us know. We'll continue with that for a couple more episodes, and happy summer solstice, Wendy.
Thank you. Make it a great day.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes. We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review. And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day.